The finest clothing made is a person's own skin, but, of course, society demands something more than this. What a wee little part of a person's life are his acts and his words. His real life is led in his head, and is known to none but himself. It was wonderful to find America, but it would have been more wonderful to miss it. Let us make a special effort to stop communicating with each other, so we can have some conversation. Drag your thoughts away from your troubles. By the ears, by the heels, or any other way you can manage it. When a person cannot deceive himself, the chances are against his being able to deceive other people. India has 2 million gods and worships them all. In religion, all other countries are paupers, India is the only millionaire. Age is an issue of mind over matter. If you don't mind, it doesn't matter. If it's your job to eat a frog, it's best to do it first thing in the morning. And if it's your job to eat 2 frogs, it's best to eat the biggest one first. Part of the secret of a success in life is to eat what you like and let the food fight it out inside. In the first place, God made idiots. That was for practice. Then he made school boards. There are basically 2 types of people. People who accomplish things, and people who claim to have accomplished things. The first group is less crowded. A person who won't read has no advantage over one who can't read. It is by the goodness of God that in our country we have those 3 unspeakably precious things: freedom of speech, freedom of conscience, and the prudence never to practice either of them. Life would be infinitely happier if we could only be born at the age of 80 and gradually approach 18. I came in with Halley's Comet in 1835. It is coming again next year, and I expect to go out with it. It will be the greatest disappointment of my life if I don't go out with Halley's Comet. The Almighty has said, no doubt, now here are these 2 unaccountable freaks, they came in together, they must go out together. The difference between the almost right word and the right word is really a large matter. 'Tis the difference between the lightning bug and the lightning. Training is everything. The peach was once a bitter almond, cauliflower is nothing but cabbage with a college education. My books are like water, those of the great geniuses are wine. Fortunately, everybody drinks water. Why is it that we rejoice at a birth and grieve at a funeral? It is because we are not the person involved. The more you explain it, the more I don't understand it. Travel is fatal to prejudice, bigotry, and narrow-mindedness, and many of our people need it sorely on these accounts. It is curious that physical courage should be so common in the world and moral courage so rare. I have been complimented many times and they always embarrass me. I always feel that they have not said enough. It put our energies to sleep and made visionaries of us, dreamers and indolent. It is good to begin life poor, it is good to begin life rich, these are wholesome, but to begin it prospectively rich. The man who has not experienced it cannot imagine the curse of it. As an example to others, and not that I care for moderation myself, it has always been my rule never to smoke when asleep, and never to refrain from smoking when awake. How lucky Adam was. He knew when he said a good thing, nobody had said it before. It is better to keep your mouth closed and let people think you are a fool than to open it and remove all doubt. Anger is an acid that can do more harm to the vessel in which it is stored than to anything on which it is poured. Honesty is the best policy, when there is money in it. The right word may be effective, but no word was ever as effective as a rightly timed pause. Grief can take care of itself, but to get the full value of a joy you must have somebody to divide it with. She was not quite what you would call refined. She was not quite what you would call unrefined. She was the kind of person that keeps a parrot. Drag your thoughts away from your troubles. By the ears, by the heels, or any other way you can manage it. The Christian's Bible is a drug store. Its contents remain the same, but the medical practice changes. Humor must not professedly teach and it must not professedly preach, but it must do both if it would live forever. A round man cannot be expected to fit in a square hole right away. He must have time to modify his shape. George Washington, as a boy, was ignorant of the commonest accomplishments of youth. He could not even lie. Ideally, a book would have no order to it, and the reader would have to discover his own. It is my belief that nearly any invented quotation, played with confidence, stands a good chance to deceive.